true-life murder case. You know what that means. That means that a movie company has to race to the finish line to be the first motion picture to capitalize on a tragedy. And in the case of the Manson family, that movie was the Helter Skelter murders, made while the trial was still going on. Kinda jumped the gun a little bit, movie. What if they were found not guilty? But as you can see, this movie was shot in pristine black and white, and crossed with documentary concert footage, plus featuring scenes shot at the actual ranch, not to mention numerous extended sequences with no dialogue and all camera angles. Certainly sounds like my cup of tea, but don't worry, it's a movie about hippies. There's gonna be plenty to make fun of. Especially considering that the movie comes to us from Toilet Paper Reel Productions, and it can't be a true story without an opening text at the beginning. In the late summer of 1969, an unknown band of hippie-styled characters? They talking about the Manson family or the cast of Hair? And lest you forget, this dramatic enactment is a photo play, which we are watching on our moving picture box with the sound beams turned all the way up. Wait, it's being portrayed by professional actors? 30 seconds in and the movie has already lied to us. Also, if it's a true story, you really need to start the movie out with this.
This is the city, Los Angeles, California, third largest in the world.
Don't forget, it's the 60s, so let's throw a shot of the moon's surface in for good measure. Uh-oh, I know what's going on here. Tex Watson is leading the gang to try out for the Villains of the Week on Hawaii Five-0. You see, back then, people had to ration their ibuprofen. Acid may provide a fun trip, but man, are the headaches fierce. After that, they're finally ready to go rob that saloon. I think you just spilled Jack Black into our Charles Manson. Leave it to drugs to cause the ending of the Great Train Robbery to shoot the end of 2001. There's only one person who can save us from this clan. That's right, Spider-Man. On tonight's Helter Skelter Murders, the part of Charlie will be voiced by Debbie Reynolds. Help me! Help me! I don't want to be in this movie! I make fun, sure, but I am kinda digging this music. Is that what chanting sounds like when you're worshipping a wicker man fused with LSD? So far, this movie is all over the place. We see a couple girls arrested for probably first-degree armpit hair. Then there's people doing drugs at the beginning. And now they're moving hay? If I didn't know how this story ended, I'd swear that the filler would be these people fucking a horse. Also, some movies feature a soundtrack by John Williams, some have Ennio Morricone or Danny Elfman. This one goes right to the source, Charles fucking Manson.
I am a mechanical boy. I am my mother's toy. And I play in the backyard sometimes.
What in the hell is that? Sounds like my kettle is raping my skillet. Charlie, maybe you can help me out with the lyrics. Thank you. It all makes sense now. Wait, what's going on here? They're letting them go? This is actually a little-known part of the Manson family history, where they were freed for 48 hours to help Nick Nolte track down a killer. Pretty much the entire movie is told in flashback as the trial progresses. Nameless witnesses take the stand to explain why the 60s were awesome. Not exactly sure how Linda Lovelace can help the case, but I'll trust the defense knows what they're doing.
Would the witness mind explaining to the court what she means by get it on?
Get it on. Well...
That's right. This movie is going to use a flashback to tell us what group sex means. Oh man, all the celebrities have made it out to this gathering. Marlon Brando, Roseanne, The Naked Trucker. This band must be really good. Jesus, you just fifth dimensioned my strawberry alarm clock. This is like watching the Woodstock documentary crossed with a Mondo film. That's an awful lot of PDA going on, guys. What do you think Charlie would have to say about that?
I don't roll around with people like that.
See? You're embarrassing your leader, who has yet to be seen in this sequence.
Would you please tell the court what happened next?
Objection, relevance, overruled. I'm just about to climax. I didn't really need to see this sequence. I can get the same effect by playing my Vanilla Fudge album backwards and hitting myself in the face with a brick.
Now, will you answer this question for the court? Were there any drugs in use?
No, Your Honor, just nasal spray. Allergies were quite high on the ranch. Some caught the flu, surprisingly, from all the fucking. Like this instance where nameless hippie number 6 fucks the lady from my uncle's bowling team. Now that the sketch artist is done drawing Merlin Olsen, it's time to bring in our next witness, who introduces Sharon Tate into the story, even though, like everyone else, she's never actually named in the movie. In fact, the only person who is named is Charlie, and all he does is just sit around and look like the love child of George Lutz and Jack Torrance.
You know, that's what I call confusion.
Hang on a sec. I recognize this scene. How dare this true-life murder tale rip off a scene directly from Snuff, which was itself ripped off from the Manson family case. Except that movie had hilarious lines like this.
Miss London is under exclusive contract to me, and if I want her to stand on her head, that's what she'll do.
I would not.
And if there's one thing that I demand in my movies about killing sprees, it's comedy? Like, that can't be right. After a montage of all the studios that turned this movie down, the movie goes color to bring us behind the scenes of a Sharon Tate movie. And this clearly symbolizes that our reality is so dark, it can only be filmed in the true shadows of black and white, while the shallow and fictitious power of film is the only real color in our lives. I don't know what this movie is, but it's using the same soundtrack that Stanley Kubrick used. So I love this movie.
Such a lovely, lovely girl.
Objection, Your Honor. That scene seemed like filler. Overruled, strictly for the soundtrack. And now I guess we get a flashback of the wood used to make that drawing paper. Actually, it's just an assassination attempt on Marlo Thomas, while the perpetrators are free to take with them all the Pennzoil they need. You know what would really help this sequence? Dialogue! Otherwise, I'm thinking this porno is about to get really awkward. And all of this from key witness Freddie Prinz? Wait, didn't I already see this part? I hear you though, sometimes extra strength just isn't enough. Say, what's going on here? Do you like me, yes or no? Meet me by the tree, I'll give you another note there. Really with this guy? The dude who played Satan in Snuff was more intimidating. But that could have been because of the natural echo of his voice.
You will submit to me, here, now, like an animal to its mate.
Okay, now here's where the movie gets very, very serious. It's one thing to make fun of hippies dancing, hippies doing drugs, and showing random clips of Charles Manson just being fucking crazy. But given the source material of the movie, it does all lead to the Tate murders. And you know, For the most part, it handles this sequence incredibly well. This is a long stretch of the movie that takes up most of the second half, and while it could have felt like straight exploitation, this uses a lot of mood and a lot of suspense to get us through these scenes. And I think the black and white photography really helped this a lot. The film's director, Frank Howard, also served as editor and cinematographer of the movie, and it makes me very surprised he never did anything else before or after this movie. He knows how to use shadows, he knows where to point the camera, and he knows how to let the mood be, well, depressing. There are some genuinely creepy moments here, from victims being waved into the next room without any dialogue, and honestly, to some of the performances. The villains are scary as hell, and those who are supposed to look scared look fucking scared. The actor playing Watson does fine work here, and is actually more imposing than the man playing Charles Manson.
I'm the devil. I'm here to do the devil's business.
Hey, I did say some of the acting was good.
What the hell's going on?
And some isn't. But it's a long shot ahead of the acting from this film.
Okay, we'll try it once more. After the carnival.
What surprises me is how precise the movie is with a lot of details. Any exploitation film could have burst in, bang bang, blood and guts, but this film, regardless of what the intent might have been, at least seems to go step by step in what happened, and again, delivers it with suspense and makes it rightfully disturbing and not just gross. But then, after all that, it gives us a newspaper reel montage that seems to hint that any day now, the hippies will rise up and kill every one of us. Maybe with bad vibes, but other than that, I think we'll be fine. There's even a title card at the end that gives a stern warning against the use of drugs. I really don't know what this movie has against drugs, because without them, I don't think the movie would have looked like it did. But what's it matter what I say? What does Charlie think of the movie?
Terrible.
Really? It's not that bad. The Helter Skelter Murders is an odd, bloodshot-eyed duck. It's part hippie-sploitation, part home invasion thriller, and while you can wonder whether they simply just wanted to capitalize on a sensational news story, or if they actually wanted to make a good movie, I think there's probably a little bit of both, because it is at least shot with some level of ambitiousness. The problem is that it relies way too heavily on the viewer knowing every detail about these murders. If you didn't know anything about the case, you'd wonder why Dante Hicks is wanting people dead. None of the killers are named, none of the victims are named, they don't have much dialogue. It points out that Sharon Tate is an actress, but it says nothing about the other victims. A much more informative film on this case was the 1976 made-for-TV movie Helter Skelter. When the trial ended, the movie added an extra tidbit that the killers were found guilty. But come on. This was made when the trial was still going on. You could give it any ending that you want. Look, you already had a Jack Lord look-alike on the set, and that's more than I can say about the 5-0 remake. It'd still be a more accurate film than Snuff.
I want to make love to you.
Good. Okay, so that does it for the Helter Skelter murders, and me showing old clips of Snuff. And all I can say is that it's still not the most annoying cult that I've come across.
What did I tell you, chick? The Messiah would be here. Did you believe me, man? I said he'd be here.
Hush, hush. Keep it down now. Voices carry. As it says in the good book of Mungo Jerry, if her daddy's rich, take her out for a meal. If her daddy's poor, just do what you feel. That's right, my brothers. It's okay to molest the poor ladies. Speed along the lane. Do a ton or ton and 25. Now start sucking.
Seriously, do they have to play in my fucking backyard?
We don't need it anyhow. All we need is you and I.